FC Barcelona has a legacy of greatness, from Johan Cruyff to Lionel Messi, La Masia, and more. They've won incredible matches, accomplished unbelievable things, and inspired millions of kids out there with a dream. However, over the past couple years, that has been about as far from the truth for this club as possible, and that has been incredibly detrimental to the health and well-being of the club as a whole. However, it's that dream that's beginning to show itself yet again under Hansi Flick. Let me explain. Over the past, 6-7 years, FC Barcelona's legacy has been less about greatness and more of a great disappointment. Sure, there have been those few exceptions that revealed the light at the end of the tunnel, but that light was quickly turned off for many of us, except for those of us still delusional enough to see past the mess that this club was in and remember the days of yesteryear where we hoped one day we would be again. And that's because the state of the club, financially and otherwise, is just not what it once was. So before getting into what's going on right now under Hansi, let's get back to understand the situation we're in. In 2021, Lionel Messi left Barcelona, a club that had been bailed out for several years by La Pulga himself, while the incompetent management, at the very least, gave away the highest contracts La Liga had ever seen to players that could never meet those very lofty expectations. And since then, the club has been far from inspiring, jumping from manager to manager with a turnover of players that has left the team with very few trophies and a lot of disappointment. That's not to say that there weren't great things that came from that time. We've got Xavi's 4-0 Clasico victory, Pedri and Gavi's rise to stardom, and more, but it just wasn't the same. See, for most of the people watching this video, you're probably not Spanish, and you almost certainly don't have any, if many, ties to Barcelona. Yet, I'm sure the vast majority of you consider yourself a very strong fan of the club. And that's because, historically, FC Barcelona has been one of the most marketable and exciting teams in world football. For some, it could have been in Cruyff's experience as a player, his revolution of the team style, Ronaldinho's magic on the pitch, Messi's immortality, or many more. But it's those things that helped the club transcend borders, languages, decades, and failures and drama. Those moments are things held onto in the memories of fans and keep fans coming. But they also, and maybe more importantly, inspire new fans. Something that I think this club has desperately been lacking. That was until Hansi Flick came in. Again, there have been moments of brilliance from this team, but rarely was it sustained, and even more rarely was it recognized by world football in a way to bring new fans to the club, which is something that's so critical to the success of this team, as they have one of the largest stadiums in Europe normally, and could desperately use the money that a big stadium like that could bring in due to the club's financial issues. But now, with the historic financial issues and recent poor performance over the past few years, new fans are just not popping up at the rate they used to. I first got keyed into this issue during my watch along of the second leg against PSG when Barcelona lost, and my viewers were all saying that the guys at school were going to make fun of them because their team lost. And at face value, that's normal. But the difference was that I was seeing it to such a level that it was clear that these Barcelona fans were severely outnumbered at school. And of course they were. A lot of them had never really seen Barcelona play well or be dominant without fail, without crumbling when it mattered, and without being on top. But now they kind of are. And I've noticed this change firsthand. But I'm actually going to have to take you guys off the tripod for the first time to come show you. So come on, let's go. Get out of here. This is where it all changed. Over the summer, I came here to play some footy, miss some free kicks, and just get some fresh air. But I ended up getting kicked off the pitch by a bunch of 12-year-olds that were coming here to train. And at the time, one of them had an FC Barcelona kit on. However, today it looks a little bit more like this, where there's a higher percentage of Barcelona fans among these kids. Because Barcelona is playing such great or exciting or wild football,
It's creating a lot of fans that otherwise would be watching other teams or just not interested in football in general. The Tacticos online might tell you that they peaked at the wrong time, or the ESPN FC guys might tell you that the way they play is not sustainable, but in my opinion, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even matter if they win any trophies anymore this season. They've played exciting football, beat big teams in crazy ways that's very viral online, and that creates a lot of fans. Barcelona has played decent football for a little while, but in the past couple of years they've especially struggled to win big impressively. And with Hansi Flick now, that's possible, and I don't think it would have been without him, at least this season. But back to the studio for the rest.
So, that's just my perspective, but it's hard to ignore what Hansi Flick has been doing. And his style, his way of play, may be revolutionizing the way Barca looks, and why I think it doesn't really matter very much if they win anything else this year. 4-0 Real, 4-1 Bayern, 5-2 Real, 7-0 Valladolid, and blah, blah, blah. Lots of goals, lots of games won, lots of headlines, while they are at it, driving a lot of attention, with Lamine tearing it up as a child, Bedri cooking like never before, and the whole team just overall turning it up. They are converting fans in the process. Just look at the amount of TikTok edits and things being made online about how exciting and how incredible these players are. I'm seeing it at such a level that really hasn't existed since the rise of this short form media. Barcelona is really taking over finally in a way that those of us that remember a lot of the great times can. I've been searching for a while, trying to figure out why I feel so much better about this team under Hansi Flick than I did under Xavi. And I'm sitting here as a creator with lots of you watching me, and I feel a responsibility to not slam on Xavi because he was here in a difficult time, doing a difficult thing, and did achieve some with us. I don't think he is a terrible coach, but I've been searching for the right way to describe why I think Hansi is better than Xavi in this way, and I think I figured it out now. When Barca won the league under Xavi, a huge accomplishment after years of very meh play, well, it didn't really change anything with regards to the club's reputation, especially internationally. They'd won the league, sure, but hadn't gotten out of the group stage of the Champions League, lost to United in the Europa League, and barely won most of their matches, putting in a defensive showcase pretty much every single match in La Liga, no matter who they played. That is not the type of football that inspires a ton of kids and changes the way pundits talk about the club. Again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's less inspiring and doesn't drive fans with no connection to the club or the city to follow that team in the same way that thousands, millions of people became obsessed with the Blaugrana because of Messi or Ronaldinho or Iniesta or what have you. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Pedri, Kubarsi, and even Lewandowski are doing that right now. I was recently listening to an episode of the Ranks FC podcast, and one of the hosts was saying how, after watching the end of the Barca-Benfica match, his son ran around the room recreating Rafinha's finish to win the game. This is a British Fulham fan who lives in San Diego, and his son is celebrating a goal by a Brazilian at Barcelona. It's moments like that that create fans of a club forever. Not 1-0 victories, not even trophies in big competitions necessarily. Those small things that bring us back to our childhood, make us jump up and down like a kid in a candy store. Those moments are what FC Barcelona is bringing us today with Hansi Flick's insane high line and ambitious press. It is not by any means a consistent way of play, and they will lose matches because there are flaws in it and they can get exposed relatively easily at times. However, that doesn't really matter. And when the Camp Nou opens back up, fans from all over are gonna fill those seats again to see these guys create magic no matter what silverware they leave with this season, because good, fun, inspiring football can do that. So thank you, Hansi Flick, for playing this way. And also, guys, I do want to let you know I have a big trip to Barcelona planned in the next few months, and I need your help. So go follow me on Instagram, help support my page, because that is like the only way I can reach out to footballers or brands, and to have a little bit more clout on there, I think would help. So if you guys can go follow me, the link will be in the description below. And I appreciate you for watching this video. See you in the next one. Peace.